I say, did anyone see you coming here? No, they did not. Are you quite sure? Yes, I am somewhat positive. Splendid. Then shall we begin? If you seem it's safe to do so. After you. Boom, 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 boom. Stars shining brighter above you. Boom, 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 boom. Night breezes seem to whisper, I love you. Boom, 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 boom. Birds. My practice is essentially making up stories and putting them on stage. I have made a few solo shows, although by solo I mean I will perform whilst 5 or 6 other musicians and 2 technicians and a bunch of other people will assist in doing that. So I don't actually make solo shows at all. I make shows with loads and loads of people in. And I'm looking forward to making no shows for a couple of months. Everything I do ends up with a product at the end of it. I've got a horribly over-accelerated sense of working class work ethic that results in me trying to fix or build or make something at every opportunity. And I applied for money essentially for me to break out of doing that, because I've been, I think most lately I've got a little bit more self-reflective. I've been noticing myself stop when I think I've got a product that's ready, rather than push on and make something horribly inaccessible and overtly arty, which would probably be better than what I'm ending up making. So I've applied for money to withdraw for 2 months into a tiny little studio in West Wales, where I was this morning, funnily enough. I'm going to go down there, leave my mobile phone and my laptop behind in Cardiff, and spend as much time as I can in the studio gurning around, doing what I used to do when I was younger, which was find the root of as much of my material as possible from within my own body. Spend as much time as I can out in the woods, hanging around with Molly the dog, and look for inspiration there. Once I've amassed a body of material, which I hope will come quite quickly, I'm expecting nothing for the first 2 or 3 weeks while I just sit around and grizzle about the fact that I haven't brought anything to read or watch. Once I've got some material, I'll document that and store that as much as I can, and then I'm going to go away and train with some people. There are 2 people in particular that I want to go and train with. One is a Brechtian singer and the other is a choreographer, dancer choreographer. I've worked with both of these people in the past, both as a technician and as a dramaturg, and what I'm really delighted with is the opportunity to go and learn from them without there being a product. I'm quite interested in studying myself through this process to find out what it is I do. I'm also aware that that makes me sound like a horrible sandal-wearing hippie, which I can be. I did go to Totnes to go to college. I think this award is an enabling thing for artists. I've actually titled my application, Am I an Artist? Because I spend so much of my time being a producer of work that I think I've lost touch with what it feels like to hurl myself at something, and not willy-nilly. I'm not going to just show up and hope that something plops out of the sky into my lap. But I will for sure behave unruly and decadent in my artistic pursuit, which I wish more artists would do. I get wrapped up a lot in a world of people who, through necessity, and that necessity is very real, but through necessity, producing a viable product that someone will then buy and sell on their behalf. And that is a heartbreaking task to a lot of people. For me, it is for sure. And I'm looking forward to being the artist that I've read about when I was younger. I want to spend hours and hours completely plastered off my cake on absinthe, locked away in some horrible ghetto, scribbling down nonsense that plops into my head. I want to go for weeks and weeks and weeks without drinking any booze and just surviving on coffee and sand and see what happens. That's what artists do, I think. And I'm probably going to need a new laptop. And I was thinking of maybe not going into the woods to work, but perhaps go to the Thai capital, Bangkok, which I hear is very good, and there are good cheap hotels. And I'm going to need... No. I was going to go on about having a new dump valve for the Saab Turbo that I've just bought. I'll buy that for my own money.
He's standing at the first floor open window, looking out across a grazed flat field that slopes away from it towards a river. On the opposite side of the valley, the land inclines steeply to tree-covered hillsides. It's 3 o'clock in the